All right, surprise, we're going to be doing an Eeveelutions video. It's going to be super fast. I already had it set up, so I'm like, all right, I'm sitting here, I'm going to do it anyway. So, very small list, and Eevee is included. This one's going to be super fast. So, starting us off with Vaporeon is going to be A. I was going to think maybe B, but I love Vaporeon. Vaporeon was probably one I used in the early Eeveelutions, probably the most. Just very tanky in the game, usually a lot of health, like that water type, a lot of health, a lot of defense. Jolteon for me is a B. Love Jolteon's design. Wasn't my favorite to use, just kind of in that middle ground for me. If I got it, I got it. Always helped. I loved Eeveelutions because of coverage. So if you needed a type coverage, usually for my electric type, it was Jolteon. Leafeon came later on. Probably a C. Not my favorite. I wish they added way more types for the Eeveelutions, which hopefully they will soon. But Leafeon, out of the newer generations, was probably my least favorite. And I know I really hate on the grass type Pokemon in this channel, I feel like a lot, which I do not mean. This is not what I intend to do. Grass types are just not my favorite types. Obviously, I love fire types. If you've seen my type list, go check that out. That will explain it all. Moving on is Glaceon. Glaceon for me is also an A. I love ice type Pokemon, and I just think that, again, one of those cool designs for me. I love Glaceon in the games way more than Leafeon, because I think they came together. I think that's when you needed to evolve them. Was that with like the rocks? I think like a grass rock or a ice rock or something. Obviously, this will be to no surprise of anybody. Flareon, S. Now, yes, the fire typing makes it very high up on this list, but second, I used to use, like, whenever I used Squirtle, I would get a Flareon in the game because the fire typing in the early games wasn't crazy. I think they had, what was it, like Ponyta, Growlithe, Arcanine's my favorite Pokemon. But if you didn't have a Firestone, depending on the part of the game you were in, I don't know, I'm probably missing a bunch, but there wasn't a lot of fire types, and I feel like Flareon kind of filled that void on my team. Espeon, A. Loved the Espeon Umbreons. Like Pokemon Coliseum brought that to the light for sure, using them as starters. So Umbreon for me, Shiny Umbreon is probably one of my favorite shinies, probably my top 3 favorite shiny Pokemon of all time. In my top Pokemon of all time, maybe top 10 somewhere in there. Maybe I should do a top 10 list of my favorite Pokemon eventually on here. It's going to be so hard. It's so hard because there's so many Pokemon where you're like, oh, I'm going to change the order of this, and this. Maybe I'll do that as a video next time. It'll take a long time. That'll be a huge video just to get out, because the explanations I'm gonna have to give are gonna be so in depth for each thing, because some Pokemon are way better than others in my opinion, whether it be their design. Another thing is the design, how they worked in the games. If I collected their cards, like recently I started collecting cards again, like some of the arts for some of these cards are just off the chain, which makes me like them, because I'm like, okay, they're paying attention to this Pokemon more. Anyway, back to the Eeveelutions. Sylveon for me, when they brought it in as a fairy type, is very lackluster. I'm going to say B. Everyone I know is like, well, why not? That's fairy type. It's the newest one. I think I don't want to say drop the ball. I think it is an overused Pokemon, very oversaturated now. I think they like pushed it with the games and stuff too much. Coming from a card standpoint, I guess you could talk about the cards, or some of them are very, very cool, nice, just not my favorite by any means. Eevee itself, I played Let's Go Eevee by itself. Now this is I'm gonna catch so much flack for this, and I'm gonna explain myself. The reason I had a D level on here was for Eevee, and I know a lot of people are like, well, you're doing Eeveelutions, it makes no sense. How are you going to get Eeveelutions if you don't have Eevee, and why is it ranked so low? The Pokemon itself is terrible in the game. When you get it, it learns nothing, like almost nothing for moves. It kind of creates, like, it made me catch Pokemon faster than I ever have in a game, just so I didn't lose so fast. I think once I got it evolved, that's when I was like, all right, this is going to be it. Like, I'm going to be able to actually play the game. And I don't know, I got to remember, tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. I have not played Let's Go Eevee or Pikachu in probably, I'm not going to lie, years. So I don't remember anything of it. I don't think you can evolve your Eevee. Like, I don't think you can evolve your starter, like the starter they give you, Eevee, in that game, I believe. I think they make you use Eevee as is in the game. Now, tell me if I'm wrong on that, because I don't think I'm totally right on that. So let's review our list here. Again, it's a nice, quick throw-out list. In my S-Class, I got my Flareon and Umbreon. Just... What's up, cat? Just my two favorite. I would love them in a game together. Like, if I could use them together, that'd be awesome. I think Umbreon had to evolve at night in the games or something like that with happiness or whatever. My A's, Vaporeon, Glaceon, and Espeon. Again, strictly basically on typing for them. I love Espeon's design. Almost S, pretty close to S. Just the reason I didn't is because Umbreon is in that group, that like classification. So I put it above. Umbreon above. So B class, Jolteon, Sylveon, in that middle ground. Don't hate them. Don't love them too much. They're not my like go-to. Leafeon could also probably be bumped, as horrible as it sounds, down to D. Not a huge fan of it. That's totally still, again, this is all an opinion. I know a lot of people are like, well, how could you do XYZ? Well, again, totally opinion. Your list might look totally different. There's probably a lot of lists out there that look totally different. And at D, the Eevee itself. And again, that's going to catch some flack. They always rob normal type Pokemon in these games, where they just give them the worst moves or something that doesn't necessarily work all the time in the game. And I know I keep going back to the game, but if you based Eevee itself on cards, probably be in that A or B class, just because the designs, like Black Star Promo Eevee and all that stuff, are all amazing arts and stuff like that. But just based on the games, me playing the games like a lot, Eevee has got to be on the lower end. Again, I appreciate you guys watching the videos. Really means a lot, because it actually shows like you guys are enjoying this. Also, I want to throw this little snippet in there. 78% of my viewers are non-subscribed. Now, I know you don't have to. I'm never going to make you subscribe. I'm not one of those people that beg for it or anything. But if you want to subscribe, I'm going to keep trying to make videos as much as possible. We do possibly have a stream coming up. I want to try to do a couple streams, depending on time. Maybe tomorrow I'll throw in a stream. Maybe I'll do some more videos tomorrow. Not necessarily sure, but again, I appreciate you guys watching everything. I got a bunch of new subscribers that started watching. And again, I couldn't ask for a better group of people watching. I know a lot of you guys, some of these videos aren't well made and super edited, and I know I'm going on a rant here a little bit, but again, it's really nice of you guys to just drop in, drop a like, drop a comment. Even if you disagree, I am totally open to conversation. This is not set in stone. This is all for fun. And again, I will see you next time.